Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Listen, I'm glad to have you here. Today is it's the 7th, Friday the 7th of August 2020. And thank you for tuning into the show. Now, here's what I want to talk about. I want to get the chart started right here and take a look at this. You know, Walmarts are going to be converting their parking lots into pop-up drive-in theaters for the summer. You know, they got these huge parking lots at Walmart because of this uh, disease that we've had in the country. The parking lots are mostly empty most of the time, and all that space is sitting there not being used. I think this is a great idea to put in drive-ins because, a lot of kids around the country never been to or never experienced a drive-through before, a drive-in theater before, where you're actually outside watching a movie. And it's kind of a little bit of a different experience. Like our generation going back in the past when there used to be drive-ins in every city, a drive-in theater, it was something that we experienced, and it's different. It is very different to be sitting outside in your car watching a movie. It's very interesting and it's very different, a unique experience. And I'm glad to see they're bringing it back. So 160 of its stores are going to be transforming their parking lots, probably the larger parking lots. Okay, why stop there? Uh, have it so a little campground in the end of the parking lot too, and charge $5 a night for your spaces that don't have electricity, and provide them with electricity. Cost $10, for the people, and let them stay overnight. Give them a little ticket, have a guy come out there and give them a little Walmart ticket, and that they can keep to show that they're paid for the parking overnight. And have a little campground in there. I mean, people stay there anyway. I mean, they try to sneak in, but this way it'd be legitimate. Walmart would make some extra money, and don't you bet that most of those people will trot into the store and buy a box of candy or something. They'll buy something and trot back out to their car. You know what I mean? So Walmart will make money on both ends. You know? You got to think out of the box in times like these in order to keep businesses going and stuff. Let's take a look at the gold price today. Now, on my other channel, the Delta Report, I did a show last night and I talked about a correction. Of course, the correction wasn't here, and we didn't have a correction. Last night, the gold price was up here about 2060. Well, we're seeing the correction happen. I was just a little bit ahead of it. But the markets haven't corrected, and I'm expecting the markets to correct. I'm expecting everything to correct a little bit because the funding that caused all of this stuff to go up and up and up was the $2.2 trillion released by the Fed. And, just like a big firecracker, they light a big, one of those big firecracker things that goes way up in the sky and explodes, Some of them weigh 600 pounds. I seen one the Chinese made that was 600 pounds, a big round thing, and they put it down in a tube and they lit it, went way up in the sky and exploded into a billion different lights. It's very beautiful. But just like that's how the money is at the Fed. They launch it, it flies up into the air, and it explodes into fireworks, beautiful fireworks. But when it goes out all at once. Just like the fireworks, wow, look at that, boom, and the big sparkles everywhere, and then all of a sudden, poof, it all goes dark. It's done. It burns out. That's the way with the money here that they've dumped into the system. And, I think we're right at the point now where it's all going to burn out. It's all burning out, it's flaming out. And that's what we're seeing happening. I mean, it made a big flame, but now I think it's all flaming out. And I think what's going to happen is everything's going to start to deflate. The system's going to start to deflate. And that means corrections and everything, probably quite steep corrections. And then all of a sudden what's going to happen is that's going to force the Fed's hand. Because they can't let the system deflate. Can't possibly let it deflate at this point in time. To completely deflate. Okay, they might get a little correction, a little deflation, but they'll step back in with another big round of stimulus. Why I say there's no choice is because to let it all deflate completely, The system would lock up and freeze now at this point because it's so over-leveraged. They made a choice back in 2008. Back then, they could have suffered a lot of pain and let the system deflate, and it wouldn't have caused a total catastrophe. Now, the way they've leveraged the system, you can't let it deflate without total catastrophe. I'm talking about a catastrophe on the scale of putting us back to the Stone Age, because everything runs on money. The system runs on money. And if you let the system completely deflate at this point, it would all lock up and everything would lock up. And that means that nothing would get done. People wouldn't work. Everything would just stop. And a short time later, things like telecommunications grid, power grids, everything would just kind of slowly disintegrate and stop functioning. And the world, we would go back. We'd be on our own. It would be a horrible situation. So they got to keep inflating it. But the problem is it keeps taking more and more money. Remember back during the quantitative easing period? What a little bit of money it went such a long way? And it lasted such a long time? Now they're down to the point where 2.2 trillion makes a nice big bang, but then it flames out after a few months. They're going to be to the point in the end where they can have to do $10 trillion a day, and it'll only last for the day. It's compounding. It's getting worse and worse and worse. And the system, these bubbles, these hyper bubbles, are all getting bigger and bigger, and they got to keep inflating them. Where does it all end? One of two ways. Either they give up and they let it deflate, let the system lock up, like I was saying, and put us back to the Stone Age, or they just keep going in ever-increasing amounts, kicking the can down the road at the expense of the dollar. And ultimately, if they go in that direction, the dollar and all of the other fiat currencies are just going to die. You know? The big question mark is, how long is this going to take? I don't think it's going to take an extremely long period of time, because all of this is working on an exponential. And the last part of the exponential function goes really, really fast. And we're getting into the last part of it right now. And that's why it's becoming obvious to everyone what's going on now at this point. And that's why gold and silver are taking a boost. But we're going through a little correction phase right now. I think the money's starting to run out, that 2.2 trillion, and I think we're going to need more money to prop everything back up again. But eventually, confidence is going to be lost. And confidence, this is all a confidence game. And so then we're really going to see the hyperinflation get started in an earnest way. So 2019 for gold, and silver today is $27.63. It's down $1.26. Cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, 350 billion. You notice that Bitcoin is correcting a little bit with the metals. We're looking at a Bitcoin price of $11,609. It got up close to $12,000. $350 billion industry, 61.2% Bitcoin dominance. Now, we were at a 61% Bitcoin dominance. The Bitcoin dominance is rising just a little bit, and that's a bearish signal for cryptocurrencies. Now, the opposite holds true. When you see the Bitcoin dominance fall, that's a bullish signal. So we're getting a little bit of a bearish signal there with the Bitcoin dominance falling by 0.2%. Dow Jones Industrial average today, 27,362. It's down 24 points on the day. I think in the short term, I think this market's pretty much peaked until they bring out more bigger stimulus. I think that the like I say, that it's done what it's going to do. It's boom, bang, and it's over. And now the stimulus money, the heady effect to the markets and everything from all that money is starting to wear off now. It's starting to wear thin. So we could be in for quite a large correction in these markets in the very near future. In fact, that's kind of what I'm expecting as a correction. probably within the next 6 weeks. Well, let's take a look now at crude oil, 41.17. It's down 1.86% on the day. Bonds and rates, looking at rising yields, around 3 basis points. U.S. 10-year at 0.56 and the U.S. 30-year at 1.23 today. And we're looking at a rising dollar. The dollar is at 93.51 and it's been rising. It was earlier in the day, it was down to 92.78. Now it's 93.51. And listen, thank you guys for listening to my show. Like and subscribe, give me a thumbs up. And we'll catch you guys probably with a show this weekend. Well, we'll catch you guys later. And you guys have a great day, what's ever left of the day. Bye-bye, guys.